leaps up into resentment and isolation? Or is your team operating in levels of safety and pleasure, excitement and belonging and community? And once you get to be able to read it in the eyes, and you learn how to read it in the bodies, and you realize the body is the map, and as a coach you learn how to read those bodies and those faces and those eyes, and you match that up with a performance skill, you can see where your team is. You can see where you want them to go. You're not going to win many games down here unless you're lucky enough to find a team that's even lower down than you. If you want to win, you got to turn them on. You got to get the spirit going. They got to stop being separate individual egos, and every coach knows it. You got to break them colts down. You got to break down those egos. I hear people say sometimes, well, I don't want to be broken down and manipulated. Well, it's not like that. What gets broken down ain't nothing but your ego. Now, it's going to hurt your feelings, I promise you. You're going to be embarrassed. You're going to be humiliated. You don't just come to the end of your strength. Your ego is beaten to the ground. And a coach knows just how to do it in a way that he doesn't harm you. He's not breaking you. He's gentling you. What he's breaking is your ego. Now, it's a complex process, but it's also a natural process. It's what you automatically do when you have a new baby. You automatically love them. You make mistakes, but you automatically want what's best for them. See, the use of the transformers isn't in a book, and it isn't on a DVD, and it's not on a performance scale. It's in your heart. It's in your soul. It's in your essence. You've got it. These are simply devices or tools to help you tap back into it and to help you refine it and clean it up, to uncontaminate it from your own ego. That's why it's a transformer. That's why you go with it together, through it together with your players. They're not just getting their egos busted, you're getting your ego busted too. Every time you step up there, it's the end of life as you know it, and you're going to be the dog, you're going to be the fool, you're going to be the dumb one, you're going to be the loser, until everything in you that wants to win by dominating is shattered. The ice is thawed. It melts, and suddenly you find yourself somebody you don't know, and you got to know who this is. But man, I like it. I like this. I want to stay here all the time. Well, don't we all? You're getting really good at seeing other people's egos. Yeah, I know what you mean. It's all your own reflection, okay? All you're seeing is the reflection of your own projection. Everything you think about people, every opinion you have, it's all you and it's all about you. Okay, so I know that feeling. Now I'm starting to see it. So how do you see your own ego? Well, that's all you are seeing. Everything you're seeing is in a phenomenological world. You're in a bubble. You're looking out through the bubble at other people, but what you see reflected back at you is your own image. And you see they're out there moving around. You can fit the reflection of your face over their face. See, but finally it's you. And what you're seeing there is your own ego. And it's so pervasive. It's so sticky. You can't defeat it. Nobody's going to defeat it. Nobody escapes it. In the high performance, once in a while, you have this accident. If the challenge is big enough, and the horror is big enough, and the terror is big enough, and the fight or flight reaction is big enough in the body, there's an explosion, and it just runs and hides behind the couch, And then you have to come out and take the action. And then I can really feel it, peeking up over the couch. And then I'm on. I don't need it. And you know what I think every time? Got it. I'll never have an ego problem again. Well, whoops, there it is again. It's that quick. It's back. And then you realize only way you're going to get it is increase the challenge. The only way you're going to shake it off again. You got to increase the challenge for yourself and for your team. And then you get lucky and you get that controlled accident. One of our coaches was doing some work with some players, I won't tell you the team, major league team, and they were right near the bottom of the field at the beginning. They were one of the lowest teams in the league some years ago. And she started coaching some of the hitters on the team. And all she did was some work with depth perception, very simple intervention. How are you seeing? Okay, for the ball coming at you at 90 miles an hour, How do you see it with this eye? Good. How do you see it with this eye? And they got their attention off themselves, off the ego, and they begin looking at where does the ball make that jump as it goes from one eye to the other? Perceptually, what's going on? It became very interesting for them. And while they were playing with their perceptions, they started being able to catch the ball where it was instead of where it ought to be. And now they didn't have any excuses anymore. They had home runs. Well, they won the World Series that year. That's coaching, you see. You're shifting that attention off the ego. You're making a game within a game, an inner game within the game of baseball, an inner game within the sales game that you're playing. And suddenly you find yourself in a three-dimensional reality where there's an actual ball coming toward you at 90 miles an hour. And you see where it is, not where you think it is. Not what your ego told you it should be, you see. And then it's just a matter of putting the bat to it. So it's a different level of play altogether. And of course the team suddenly had spirit because all those high-paid jocks didn't have their attention on themselves anymore. So they had attention on the ball, they had their attention on each other. They had a game to play within the game. Fourth dimension, the ball is not coming at you at 90 miles an hour anymore. You know how that works, right? You're driving the car really fast, you step on the brakes, it hits some ice, you skid, and time slows. We'll talk more about it later in the Transformers. Time slows down. And when you reach that fourth dimension and you're completely selfless, you're actually non-existing. The ball is outwardly it's coming at 90 miles an hour, but from where you sit, it might as well be a snail crawling through the air. And it's just coming right to the place where your bat is waiting for it. And the whole thing is in slow-mo, and you're in a state of joy, you're in a state of rapture, and the ball is out of there. That's the fourth dimension. There's no time. Remember, point, height and width. Height, width, depth is the third dimension. Height, width, depth, and time is the fourth dimension. See, there's not sequences of time that capture us in the fourth dimension. We're outside of time. We literally glimpse things from other perspectives altogether. Now, as a coach, you want your players there. You want to be there yourself. That's the ultimate in high performance. That's transcendent experience. And that's why we coach. Remember, it's not for the money. It's not for the glory. It's not for the gold statue that's going to gather dust on your shelf. It's for that experience. And then to be able to share that with other people, with your peers, with the people who also they understand